Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of, a special edition of Monday Night in America?
No.
Trekking Across the Universe? Hey, it's Trekking Across the Universe, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Weekend Review. Thank you for joining us. I'm Roger. That's Michael over there. And we're ready. Episode 7. Wow, really good stuff. Good evening, Michael. How you doing? Because we already have people in the chat room.
I know, that's cool.
Let us know who you're already hail from, folks.
Hopefully they'll stay around.
Yes.
Hopefully they will. But so we're going to be talking about episode 7.
A slow death is worse.
Yes.
Yes, the crew discovers they're not alone in space, and they learn more about where they came from. Woohoo! Good stuff. Obviously, immediately following episode, which is 2x2. And next week, every single person matters. But that's next week. We should be on schedule.
Well, which is actually this week. It's on Wednesday.
And when I say next week, I'm referring to when our episode is on next week.
That's true. Yes.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome. So, Michael, some of your thoughts are already. Being an archer yourself, I'm an archer. Hey, Jag, thanks for joining us on the odd Monday night. Yes, thank you. There was a lot going on in this episode, no doubt about it. And I was glad to do the rewatch in the last 2 hours. Folks, first of all, I want to apologize on a personal level. I was dead. I was exhausted. I was confused, didn't know where I was. Michael calls me. He says, hey, dude, are we doing the episode? Huh? It was bad yesterday. It was horrible. And it wasn't drug-induced. It wasn't liquor-induced. It was
work-induced.
It was exhaustion, man. It was a horrid, wretched weekend. But it's not about me. It is about this program, The Ark. And I guess by saying that, really, it was more of an apologize. And I thank you. Oh, you're excused, however, one more time. Felix Strickland on the case. Indeed, yes. He did show some numbers, and I have to tell you that Michael and I did have a chance to chat about this. I don't know if it wasn't that evening. It was the very next morning. So we were already getting some ideas going. And Jag, if you want to join us, let us know. We'll send you the link, and you're on with us. So, but beyond that, some of your thoughts, Michael. I was genuinely surprised. I think I mentioned to you that 2x2 might have been a bit of a letdown for me, but it advanced the story, and I still like where this series is going. There's no doubt they have my attention. And in episode 7, quite a few surprises. Yep, quite a few. So what are some of your thoughts, Michael? And let's get the conversation going. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's just the first thing was basically they're trying to communicate with this Arc 3, and they get nothing.
Oh, right. An hour later.
It's not going to make any difference.
15 attempts. 5. Yeah, I know. I'm flashing everyone my fingers. Sorry.
Yeah, which is interesting. It was 15 attempts if you think about the end of the show.
All right, there's some shadowing or foreshadowing throughout the series. Yes. There's a significant thing that happens early on that foreshadows something a little bit later. Very good. I missed that. Please, Michael, continue.
Yeah.
All right, dude, you got me going.
Yeah, and then the finding the damage to that arc that, if I remember right, they said it was worse than their arc.
Yes.
That's what. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. Might be why they survived versus. But then again, they were in cryo, but they still had issues. But I don't know. It was just interesting the way it played out when they finally got in the ship, and everybody was dead on the floor.
Well, as we found out, most of them, we learned that there were 12 that did survive.
12 that survived. Yes.
The incident because they were going to be on an EVA.
To
Now,
fix something or look at something. So
it is interesting if you think that one of the sleeper bays, I understand. Well, okay, the Arc 1 was hit apparently in the sleeper bays.
yeah.
And I got the impression that Arc 2 was hit in the same manner as well. So they weren't actually trying to damage the ship per se. They were going after the life forms. They were going after the people.
Well,
that's the impression I got on the attack for Arc 3.
Well, if I remember right, maybe Jag can confirm. I thought Arc 3 got hit at the front of the ship, not where the sleeper bays were.
Well, that is correct. Yes, there was damage. There was residue, and that's what they were detecting, I think.
Yeah.
It was on the port side of the ship, and you could see it when they were running their numbers. Yeah, got hit in the front.
Yeah.
Yes, R2 was vaporized, as the young lady did tell her story. And she was like, oh, well, there's no R2 because as they try to go to light speed, they just got vaporized. So was there anything left over when they got vaporized? Or did they become cosmic dust?
No, you never know what's going on.
Did they bounce off a star, go through a sun? Was this hyperspace or is this warp speed? Sorry, I'm crossing universes. I'm getting stupid. Oh, here we go. I think we want to go live. So here's what we're going to do, Jag.
I already did it.
Oh, you did? Oh, you man. I thought we were going to post in the chat room. But if you made contact direct.
Yeah, I did direct.
Ooh, you did bomb. All right.
So where was I? Okay, so they're walking around, as you said, they had some survivors, and one of the survivors was trying to knock off some of the people from Arc 1.
Yeah, and this young lady was smart enough to trick the computer to create the biogen alert or an antigen alert, and would seal off the room and ventilate.
Yeah, so that was like, okay.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice way of house cleaning your enemy, right?
But
she was on a mission because I guess there were only 2 of them left because there were, as they explained it, there were 12 survivors. They decided to do something, and 7 agreed one way, 5 agreed the other, and I guess they were trying to take each other out at that point.
Yeah, but it was interesting. It said, that they found the other group in the lab and they'd overdosed. And why? I mean, that was my first thing. Why did they decide everything was hopeless? I don't know. I mean, I just thought that was interesting.
I didn't think that through. I should have thought that through. They were in medical.
They were in medical. They're in medical, whatever they're called.
Now, notice that the young lady that survived did say that she never left I guess they were in the mess hall or whatever.
Wherever, yeah.
But she was out. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You never left, but yet you're out.
But you're out, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, she's I don't know. She's shady to me, but.
Well, what does one of them say? That everyone bought their way onto the first arc or did something. So this is not the very height of humanity.
No.
These are the most cunning or had favors or something, and they were able to do it. And Jag, no, look, I'm live, and people aren't puking, so hey, it is what it is. But I am an arcer. I think that's what I'm going to call the club, the group, the believers. I am an arcer. Are you an arcer as well there, Michael?
Might be on the fence. I'm not sure yet.
Well, are you a Trekkie or a Trekker? You know my answer to that. People always ask me all the time, am I a Trekkie or a Trekker? And I tell them, I am a citizen of the Federation. So you're able to bring them in. Are you not able, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
go
waiting to
ahead.
see if you're ready. Okay.
Hey, good evening. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Good to see you.
Oh,
Can y'all
well,
hear me?
we sure do. Are you able to hear us?
Stand by. I may be doing that.
Standing by.
There you go. How's better? A little feedback.
Excellent. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of feedback. Are we clear now?
Are we good?
I'm able to hear you. Can you hear us?
Yep. So I just
Awesome.
had to turn off the YouTube channel so I didn't get a feedback from you guys. Then
Yeah,
again,
no, that's not
I get
good.
to see you. I get to see you twice, so that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, but then
I'm
we can
sorry.
hear it and it all messes everybody up. So
Well, if you
Well,
think
thank you
about it.
guys for inviting me.
Oh, no, thank you. You've been on with us for both episodes now, and you have a lot of insight. And Jag, obviously, I've stated in other episodes, I'm going to state it now. What is absolutely cool about the fact that Michael and I, and we're probably going to have another guest on with us, not today, but Almighty, we all bring the differing views, and we're taking notes, we're watching. But when we talk amongst ourselves, Jag, we've noticed that the audience is like, no, wait a minute, there's something else. And in the first episode, you had quite a bit to add to the conversation. That's why thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for enjoying for inviting me. Episode 7. Wow. I mean, we thought we would get a lot of answers, and let me just go on record by saying that Michael was on tap when he said that he thought it would be either a ghost ship or a sleeper ship, that there would be something there, and I was the one thinking that perhaps there would be nobody there. And so when they first go in and you see all the people there and they're not alive, that was kind of disappointing on me, not because I felt like I was competing with Michael, but I was hoping they had just gone to the planet and there was no one on the ship. But it made it more interesting when we found out Kelly, who is the lone survivor, who, by the way, ends up being Jonathan Glassner's daughter. She was the one that played that part. And it was interesting to see that she was there, and we found out that we didn't know why the ship had suffocated all those people, but now we're wondering if maybe that was the reason, is that she was the one that potentially was the one doing it. And the reason we found that out is that Lane found her messing with the controls when she was trying to kill Eva's assistant in the room when he found the captain in the closet. And so that's when the door closed, and we thought, oh yeah, the ship is on. It's another Hal. It almost reminded me of Hal from 2001 when the ship was acting all weird, thinking maybe it was a computer that was acting weird, but it turned out it was actually um, Kelly. So it was pretty cool to see that reveal and add that extra um, character and menace to the show, in my opinion. So really, I couldn't live tweet that much in that episode, by the way, because I was just drawn into it. And
do you think
Dean,
she's telling the whole truth?
I don't think so.
No, I don't
I
either.
don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't trust her at the moment because she grabbed the gun when everybody was supposed to get the guns from the ship. Plus, they made an actual effort to show her hiding the gun behind her back,
Yes.
behind
Yes.
Strickland. I
After
also
But
don't.
Jag,
after
Jag,
she
let me
calmed
interrupt.
him. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and Michael, did you see the moment though where she actually did get the gun the first time? Because I mentioned to Michael that I did not see that.
Me neither. I didn't
Okay.
see it, and I actually got to see the episode twice.
Oh, so did I. Yes.
I got to see the episode twice because I thought maybe because I was so glued into the whole premise of the show that I may have missed some things, and I kind of think I did. But even after watching it twice, I think I've still missed some things. I'm excited to talk about the very end, but I'll leave that till the end.
We never do
But
things in order half the time.
yeah, but
Actually,
I was just so excited about the very end when we got introduced to the how the ships got damaged and the number of that particular ship. That just like I can't wait to see where that comes from. But I was just elated. The other thing I felt bad for, I don't know about you guys, but Felix, man, his character got thrown all over the place with this episode. Um, the fact that we find out that his husband, right? His partner
Mhm.
was found on that ship. Which, by the way, did you catch that the people on that ship were not supposed to be on that ship?
Yes, that either something was really going on, and why did they? Because they said nothing was the way it was supposed to be. So, and
And then we find out that he finds his husband,
yeah,
but doesn't find his daughter.
doesn't find his daughter.
So, and then later when she tells him, Kelly, to Felix, that I didn't want to tell you at the beginning, but I'm going to tell you now that your daughter took a stray bullet at a riot. I don't know if that was really. I didn't believe her.
No, I don't believe her. I think she did that to mess with his mind, so he would maybe get rid of the guns, and she'd have the only gun,
Or to distract him while she got that gun,
or while she got the gun. Yeah,
and stuck it in behind
yeah,
her.
one of the two things. Yeah,
Had to be. And then the story she told that when everybody was. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm Garnett, and I just found a lone survivor on a ship with a bunch of people that are dead. This is just me. I would not be somebody that would let her roam around the other ark like Garnett did.
no,
And I mean, I understand where she came from, but I'm not going to be the kind of person. First of all, I don't know the history. I don't know the person. I'm not going to let that person just run around my ship and have access to anything. Again, this is just me, right? And as you can tell, I'm completely enthralled into this whole story and this whole show because I'm now thinking I'm Garnett. But anyway, and I don't mean to monopolize the show. You all keep
Not at
asking
all.
questions and stuff, but it was just a very interesting storyline. I don't believe what she said about Earth, but I don't know. She is a character to kind of keep an eye on.
yeah. And do you think she told the truth about Arc 2?
Well, there is an Arc 1 and Arc 3, but there's no Arc 2 that we know of at the moment.
Well, they might have gone a different direction too.
That could have been in a different direction. The other thing, there's something else kind of hit me. And again, don't mean to jump to the end real quick, but at the end, well, we already know that Trust is on the ship. One of the things that hit me while watching this show is, what if there's a clone of Trust on every arc?
I didn't think of that.
Because you know how we have these billionaires that just have all this money, and the last thing they want to do is die. They want to continue their legacy. So who's to say there's not a Trust on every arc? And that's why Trust doesn't know why he's on Arc 1.
I was about to say that. Why is he asking? He asked, I have two questions. And why? Remember, that was the second question. Why? Why am I on this? Very good.
By the way, good hi to your dog there. I heard him.
Oh,
No, it's not his dog.
First of all, it's not my dog, but thank you. It's a rat dog on the other side of the. It's a poodle. It's a Shih Tzu. I don't know what it is, but it suffers from
Definitely a fan of your
syndrome.
show. Definitely a fan of your show. I've heard.
And now that I think about it, yes, all right. Because when I'm out here, it is.
So that got me thinking about Trust. Thinking maybe they're, since they've already discussed the cloning storyline with Garnett, and how Trust and generally all these billionaires just want to live forever. And they want to make sure, especially when we found out Arc 3 went to Prox B because they thought that was a better chance for them to get there and start doing the whole re-civilization. So it got to me is, why didn't they just to, I guess, augment their odds and chances of to have a Trust clone in every arc?
Okay.
Now, I don't know anything behind it. I don't have anything behind that or anything.
Good, and I appreciate that. And let me ask this question now. I mentioned this to Michael. I don't know if I said this on air, but I was rewatching episode 1 because Michael and I were like, well, how many years were they? It's 5 years and 9 days that they were under. And then we had that time jump, which I thought was so amusing, 3.2.
Which, by the way, I got to correct. It said 3.2 Earth months later. That's what it actually said. I had put in the actual show before. It was 3.2 months earlier, but it was actually 3.2, and they had to say Earth months later. So I thought that was kind of cute.
Oh, I thought so it was. I laughed with Michael. I said, wait, who says 3.2 months later? I thought that was kind of cool. That's a play on many science fiction tropes, and that one was all right. it's if this ship should have made the run in 9 months, maybe they were able to go to the other destinations and find out that those stars or wherever are not worthy. So our thinking, and I'm paraphrasing for Michael, and he'll correct me, is that they've already been to the other places, and Prox B is the only one that can sustain life. And for some reason, either they want to control all of it, or there are just not enough resources on that platform. I don't know. Michael, is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, that's one of the thoughts. Yeah, because if they kept getting faster on the next arc, that would make sense. I'm lagging, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
A little bit.
You're a lagger. So we're going to ask you to bear with us as we adjust the views on this. So I might stay tight for a little bit.
Oh my God. Your viewers are going to puke now that you got me close up.
Oh, stop it. Like I said, Jag, if they don't over me, it's no.
One of the theories I got, especially when we saw, and I gotta say it, I can't hold it anymore. Arc 15. God, Arc 15 was awesome to see that introduced into the show. And one of the things I'm thinking about is, what if it was a band of people that are just a bunch of, hooligans or criminals or whatever, and they took over the arc. One of the things that came back to you and Michael, when before, maybe it's aliens that decided to take over that arc and now feel that they don't want people from Earth exploring the galaxy beyond Earth. And they're trying to prevent the re-civilization of any other planets because they feel threatened. Considering the fact that the I can't remember it, 238, I think, that is potentially an element that nobody knows about. So it's an alien-based element. So there's just so many theories and so many things that you can think of as to why. But I got to tell you, I just literally screamed like a fangirl when I saw Arc 15 and I saw that shooting at Arc 3. Because I was like, oh yes, a great baddie. Now I'm really hooked as to what's going on with Arc 15. The fact that also it's Arc 15. It's not Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3. It's not. It's really now way up there. So you got to think it's got to be advanced, way advanced, than what Arc 1 and then even Arc 3 was. And if Arc 3 had FTL, faster than light, in their engines, you can only imagine if you logically follow the chronology, and Arc 15 has to be something or even one of the fastest, because maybe there's an Arc 30 for all we know, or an Arc 30 or an Arc 50. But I got to tell you, this episode, I had a chance to tweet a little bit with John Paul Nickel, the writer of the show, after, and he didn't give me anything. He didn't give me a thing. But he did mention, they never do. But he did mention that they put a lot of effort in cliffhangers. And because I told him, my God, you had me, especially at the end with Arc 15 and then with Trust. He says, well, I'll just let you know that we in the writing room take a lot of time and effort to ensure that, we come up with the cliffhangers that we do. So I thank them for his due diligence on this episode, and also that the fact that everybody that's involved with the production, they're not doing this for a paycheck. They're doing it because they love it, and that's basically the way he was saying it, that they wrote this with love. So I was like, cool.
Yes. And Jag, right now, about the order, we don't care. We're doing it. We're flying from the seat of our pants. I don't know if you've suffered through any of our other stuff, but usually I have the notes and stuff, and we take it in.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes, like now, we veer. So it's no worry. I know when we were doing House of the Dragon, we were almost scene by scene, but we would jump ahead. So don't even sweat it. There is no set thing. I believe I will be able to take notes again, and we're going to be maybe return to that format, but we don't care. It's whatever you want to get to. And
hey, I'm here on your your invitation. You guys are the actual hosts. I'm just hope I'm not taking over. Yeah. We're not even going to call it the NDB Media. Now we're just going to call it jagmedia.net. And I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Let's see. He's been on with us for about 20 minutes. I'm all right with that.
He's already
chutzpah.
taken over the show.
I'm all right with that. So
No,
that
no.
is cool.
But no, it takes a lot for me to get into a show in general. I don't really watch a lot of shows. It's just the way I am. But I've always been a Dean Devlin fan and a
Yes.
John Glassner fan. And when I saw the arc, I'll be 100% honest. I didn't even plan to watch the show that day. It wasn't until I was reminded, I think, by Dean that night, hey, don't forget tonight at 9 o'clock my time.
Wow.
Watch it. And I just decided to go ahead and watch it. I had no plans to watch the show. And then I watched it and I should have known from history that I was going to like it. And then I sent Michael, I don't know if you got it, but I got you the ratings from SyFy.
Yeah.
And
Here comes Richard.
and we saw that we're seeing that kind of a little dip and then a rise back up where people are starting to get into it.
Oh, it is rising though.
It's rising, and it's
Okay.
almost at, because he did send me the link, and it's almost at the level that it was episode 1, episode 7,
Okay,
just
folks.
below.
Anytime, it doesn't matter in Hollywood when you get this, that's a good thing. It don't matter. Hey, good evening, Richard. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing
we're well
okay.
into
How
Yeah.
long have you guys been on?
for about 26 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm not too late then.
No, not at all. But I do want to apologize to everyone. Yesterday, it was our intent to do Sunday night, but I was the one that dropped the ball. I just wasn't feeling it, and I disappointed Michael. I think Michael had every
Well, I
reason
kept checking for a link too all night. I'm thinking, where the fuck? Oh, where is he?
Well,
Then I figured
disappointed
that
as
you were
well.
probably under the weather, so I understand.
Actually, I was under confused weather. I can't
He
describe
didn't
what
understand
happened.
when
Well,
I
I'm
called him.
always under confused weather, but But
I cannot
anyway,
even
hello
admit.
everybody. I don't think I ever met the Jag guy. How you
Oh,
doing?
first time?
So I'm a fan that just happened to hit the show, not this last time, but the time before when they had Dean Devlin, and I decided to subscribe. Then they were kind enough to invite me on the second show, which was last week, because I guess I was taking over the chat room in there, that they decided to go ahead and ask me to do a live with them. And I was I was not prepared at that time. I went to the hairdresser today, got my nails done, kidding.
Well,
So
that's
I'm
always a
not
good
there.
thing to do. And if you're going to do a podcast, you've got to have nice nails.
You got to have nice nails. And
But
so
since I bite my nails, they suck ass. So, I mean, I really don't have any nails to do. But I haven't shaved in a few days either, but I guess I'm looking a little rough. But welcome to the show. I'm glad to meet you. My name's Richard. I've been with Roger and his shows for a few years now, but sometimes I come in to bug him. But
Well, I'm glad to meet you. I don't think I've seen you in the shows I've seen.
Well, I usually most do his sports shows. And I don't think I've ever. I might have done a couple other shows where he did things, but really, I supposed to do his sports shows. But
okay.
But
you did
while
House
I'm
of
at
the
it, how you
Dragon.
doing, Michael? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, I've been laying low.
Michael is a show off because he keeps changing that virtual background every time.
Well,
So.
I try to,
Yeah, but you gotta, but we have to appreciate Michael because he's the man that gets the guests. From what I understand, if there's a guest to get, he's going to go after it and do it. So
I'm trying. It's
difficult. He does a great job. Like I said, he had Dean that time, and then he had Ryan before. And then, by the way, I got to see your Saul episode as well, the one Friday with I remember. And that was an interesting interview because I remember in Wall Street. I also remember in the episode of the most toys in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah. And
I kind of know from there where he went, but I kind of lost track of him. It was interesting to see and kind of catch up with him. So I really I do appreciate that.
I know, but I keep missing him because I've seen him in what you said, but I've also watched him when he was on Frasier. He was like, I think a season of that, and I always wanted. I mean, I know that not a lot of people watched Frasier, but I did, so I remembered that. So But I know that everybody else wants to talk to about his Star Trek appearance and his Warehouse 13 work.
We didn't talk about Star Trek at all with him.
No, I think it was what 25 minutes of an interview, maybe 30.
About
He had to go somewhere. He had to go somewhere, right?
Go somewhere, yeah.
Okay, well that's
but of course, Michael had the Warehouse 13 background. You know, this guy you can't mess with him. Hollywood should hire him. Just got the set decoration.
Well, I just started the backgrounds because I got tired of what my background was in my room. So
actually,
well, mine's no different. Mine is just a blur.
He has this mind power where he just keeps switching from ship to ship and whatever.
He's a time traveler. I think that's what's going on. That's what.
He's a traveler.
And we're finding out. I would not doubt. We were talking to the Ark earlier. I would not doubt he's part of Ark 15. That's just what I'm going to say right now.
Whoa! Who? Wait. I owe you an apology. I had to step away. Who is part of Arc 15?
Me.
Yeah, Michael. Because he keeps switching virtual backgrounds. So he's obviously in the future.
We have our resident Hermione Granger right here. Where's your time turner, buddy?
What did you say about the episode of Arc? I mean, we found out that there's 15 of them. And
at least.
And number 2 went off somewhere else.
It blew up. If we believe her story, was vapor. Yep, Jag, thank you.
Oh, that was the one that was vaporized. Okay, and
at least that's what she says.
Yeah, that. You know, I think I did catch a little bit of it before I came on, and Jag did make a good point. Why is this girl running all over the place? And they just met her, and as far as we know, she could have sabotaged that ship with her buddy. I mean, Star Trek would have, put her in the brig for a while until they found out about this person. I mean, Kirk would have questioned her to death, but
if you found out before
a female, when?
Well, Kirk would have went after. Well, anyway, I don't know. But anyway,
sorry, Jag, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we did find out she tried to kill Lane and that guy before Lane ran after her because she was right there by the computer and trying to do whatever she was trying to do to get the computer to close the door, and that's when Lane jumped. Right? Remember he did that heroic jump.
Yeah. And and we don't know. I don't know. I think she was trying to claim defense, self-defense or whatever. But still, she was trying to kill these people that she doesn't. I'm wondering also
if she's also like Newt from Aliens, where she's just trying to survive and she's in survival mode. And so she sees everything as a threat. So that was just something else that popped up to me, where you just end up being in survival mode and you just kind of look out for yourself. And maybe that's what we're thinking. That was the other thing that came up when I was looking at her, thinking, I don't trust her, but maybe she's just being instinctive.
That, I don't know. That could be, but why is she, instead of trying to figure out what, she's trying to kill him, though, and she's still in her suit. But I don't know. And they find that the person that she was with, the last 2 survivors, are dead. So who's to say she didn't just off him before she went on her little spree there?
Yeah, well, and Richard, forgive me. Notice she said there was 7 and 5 of us, and we never left. And all of a sudden, there's just 1 more left.
Yeah, I mean, they find the other one's dead, so that had to be more recent because she said there's 7 of us, and she was surprised they were dead. And it's like, well, what's going on here? I mean, they all of a sudden they all dropped dead at the same time, and she's running around, shutting doors and taking care of the life support. That's why she has her suit on. And I don't know. Let me
add one other thought, along with what Jag said about not wanting to let Kelly go around anywhere. If you think about it, we've learned that everyone on Arc 1, they all bought, traded, or did something to get on that ship. So they're not, they're cunning, they're desperate, and then they let her just walk up. You would think they're like, okay, wait a minute. If we did what we did to get on,
what did they do?
And why is she the only one left? And she was caught in the act trying to take out 2 of them. That's all we know. Right. So, Jag, excellent thought. The minute you said that, I was like, hey, yeah.
But also you have to remember that for some reason this whole crew was changed out. and we're still figuring out why that happened. I mean, why we're all because nothing matched. Who's the security officer's name?
Felix.
It's
Felix.
unfortunate that his husband was dead, and
Who
that
was supposed to be on the 5th one.
Yeah, but I don't know if I trust her about the Earth story, and we still.
See,
I don't know what to think about. I mean, also,
I'm liking Richard. Richard and I need to get together because this is exactly what I was saying. I don't trust
but
her
then
on
I
the Earth
don't know if
story.
I understand about the daughter being killed.
Well, we were talking before you came on, and we
sorry.
were all thinking we don't think we think she made it up just to distract him, or something.
Yeah, but I mean, still, why did his husband leave his daughter behind? See, we still that is still a thing. 'Cause I have to agree that a father is not going to leave their daughter behind just to get on an ark.
No.
So, I maybe his husband was on his way trying to find Felix to tell him what happened.
Well, he did have the sword with him. He had Felix's sword with him.
True.
So
true.
he was trying to return that to him. So
so the whole thing, but still the whole crew was all switched out. So that makes no. I mean, that's a mystery. This whole damn thing's a mystery. That's driving me crazy. And I just, but I thought we were on this nice little course, and all of a sudden they throw this curveball at me. It's like, what the heck is going on with this? Okay, now I'm in, because before I was like, okay, I think I told Roger this before. I said at the beginning they could solve all their problems by watching Star Trek.
Yeah, but if they did that, it would be over in one episode.
That's what
and we wouldn't have the 12 that we have.
I know, they just be Star Trek. TOS this episode where they had to survive this and Next Generation. Oh yeah, we could get this out of here.
The thing TOS didn't have was what we have now is Dean Devlin. He likes to stretch everything out, especially if he's got the room to do it.
But still, I'm all in now, and and I knew that was going to happen. Who's the shuttle pilot? What's his name?
Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce and the girl.
The engineer.
We knew. I was waiting for that. With that, I mean, we can see these couples developing, and I knew right away once they were. When I knew they were vinegar and oil, I said, "Oh yeah, they're gonna end up together."
But we want that because that's the whole idea of going to Prox B is we want to regenerate the civilization.
Yeah, but he has to rip because he's dying.
So
he has to tap that pretty quick.
Yeah, but something tells me that's not going to be an issue because we have the cloning, which involves with the genetics and then all that stuff. I have a feeling they're going to find a way to make him okay. The other thing was the sad part. We have the reintroduction of the drugs from Arc 3 into Arc 1, and the doctor was performing surgery. She lost the patient while still stringing out from her withdrawal.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a part of it or not because he was pretty badly injured.
He was bad, yeah.
But that could be I don't know. Bryce didn't question. He doesn't know about it. Felix didn't question her about the inability. Didn't really say much about. Did he die because you were still going through withdrawal? I mean, he didn't bring it up, so I don't know if that's going to be an issue later on there. And I'm talking too much, but
I just thought of something, and someone correct me. I mean, going back to when we find out that her friend has been injured. Now, didn't she say that he never left? But so does that mean those 7 people, or which one of them, came and beat him up? Or
I think it said that they beat him up.
Yeah, but where were they when they beat him up?
And if I'm not mistaken, those 7 were actually bad guys that they were terrorizing the ship. And I'm going to have to probably rewatch the episode one more time, but they ended up being in the infirmary, but they were there and they beat up her friend. And that's why he ended up having the internal.
But did they come to this place that she said that he never left?
I don't know. That's
what I'm wondering.
I didn't catch
if she lied again, because I'm going to have to watch it again.
Think about it. She's lying because when the crew went into the infirmary, they said it looks like they overdosed.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, so wait a minute. There were 7 against 5, and she only had 1 left, her buddy. And I guess he was beaten up. It's like, and they overdosed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like something, I mean, yeah.
So you might think she overdosed him.
It looked like one of them
Well,
had
I'm
the
just
pills in
saying,
his
like,
hand.
you know, you watch some cop shows or some shows where they say, well, they died of drug things, but someone actually hit them up with shot them up with something and killed them because to cover a murder. But so is that what you're trying to say, Michael? Is that maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think there. I mean, this to me just proves that she really is lying about a lot of things.
Yeah, because all 7 overdosing at the same time.
At the same time, yeah,
and that's not a way to go for suicide either. You'd rather find another way to go besides overdosing.
Did you all notice that when the supernumerary, that extra guy, found the captain had something on his neck? Did you guys notice that?
I noticed the blueness and
It
the
was
asphyxiation,
significant.
but I didn't see. Maybe I need to probably rewatch. This is going to be one of
But it
those
was
episodes
just
I probably have
there.
to watch 2 or 3 or 4 times more
Yeah. And
because there was just so much.
Yes, there was.
So
Now-
what they haven't done yet is brought somebody over for an autopsy.
That was my next thought: is why didn't they bring some
I didn't
people
want to steal
over?
that from you.
No. That's where I was going. I mean, Richard, I swear you and I are mind melding because that was exactly why didn't they bring a couple of bodies over to do an? I can't do this thing.
Oh, I
though,
can't
so.
either. But we can pretend that we're
I can
doing
do
a
it like
mind
that.
meld.
That's all I can do.
I'm going to put my construct into you, so you can go around and when I die, and you can just revive me later on.
But that was a
just
thought.
clone
Why
you,
didn't they
Richard.
do an autopsy?
What's that again, Michael?
Or just clone you.
Oh well.
Oh no! Good God, no!
What do you mean no? Look at
So
Mr.
Richard,
Rogers.
okay,
One's
so
enough. One's enough.
here's where we're going. Michael is an ARC 15, and Richard is Trust. So that's where we're going with this.
And I'm so far out of the loop that I'm Mark 47. So, yeah.
But
I would not doubt if 47 exists.
They had the right idea because they were going to use that ship for spare parts. And so, I mean, that kind of went awry, but they could use that ship. And I thought maybe they would just get rid of some of the trade ships since they already had that thing already set up and not damaged like their ship was. But
And for those keeping score, Michael was correct on that, by the way, in his assumption that they were probably going to ransack Mark 3.
Good job, Michael.
I'm the scorekeeper in another persona. I'm getting shown up here.
But I remember because I was really paying attention to your show last time, and I was listening to all your theories, especially when we're talking about Proxby and the star and all that stuff. But Michael did make a point about they're probably going to go out there and scavenge Arc 3, and they did. They did exactly that. So I'm trying to think that maybe Michael maybe be a hidden writer or something that we're not sure of. You know?
So
how do you think I got Dean Devlin?
Yep.
So was that? I'm trying to remember. Was the Arc 3 attacked by that same goo, or did they?
Yes.
So the goo took care of that ship.
Yes.
Damaged it bad enough where they couldn't go.
Well,
So
the ship attacked Arc 3 to the point where they opened up the hull to allow for the air to escape, and those, according to Kelly, is what caused the asphyxiation or suffocation.
Okay.
It was obviously quick.
That's
Whatever.
coming back. That's coming back to me now.
And then when you saw the video later with Angus and Alicia, when they reconstruct the video, you see it. First of all, you see, by the way, if you look at that video, you see how Arc 15 just kind of zoomed in, kind of like warped in. So you already know they have a faster than travel technology or faster than light technology because they kind of just warp in. And then you see them shoot 2 times, once in the middle section of the ship and then one towards the front.
Okay.
And the front part in that area is probably where they didn't have stasis pods. They had sleeper holds. So they didn't have any, they had beds.
Yeah, because Arc 3 was able to do the warp drive. And
they were going to take it. It was going to take them 9 months or something.
And they got hit. Then that's why they only had, but still 9 months because, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to get people to survive a trip to Mars. And so for them to, but I guess it's a bigger ship and they have more to do to keep them busy for 9 months. Where if we
that is a big ship.
Yeah, but I guess if we would send a Mars mission now, they'd only have a little small containment and they could suffer from cabin fever.
Mm-hmm.
But my answer to that is always, well, find the introverts that don't care about being alone. Give them a bunch of video games, and they'll be happy just sitting in their own room playing video games on their way to Mars. It takes about 9 months to a year, right? Am I correct on that?
Depending on where Mars is in the, compared to the Earth, yeah.
But it's in what orbit it's in. Yeah, you're right about that. But I'm just saying, you get a bunch of those introverts that live in their basement and recreate their basement in their cabin and just go, oh, this is great, blah blah blah. Give them power drinks and whatever else they need, and their favorite video games, and they'd be happy. They just cruise along and get off and go, wow, this is Mars, and go back inside and start playing video games again. So you
just described me, Richard. So I guess we got roles everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm definitely an introvert. So.
Well, I'm just saying, well, wouldn't that work? I mean, if you're an introvert, you don't need to have a contact all the time. And
we actually prefer not to.
Yeah. I'm the same way. It's like, I could do it. I mean, just give me something to keep me busy or make sure my streaming services, I can still get my streaming services.
That might be difficult out there. So,
That's true.
No, I said it might be difficult to get your streaming services.
Well, I'm just, I know, but it
might be, but you never know.
Just load up all the shows on the flash drive and just
there you go.
watch their shows.
There you go. Yeah, but leave it to Michael's a realist.
Yeah, but still, it could be done. But
yes.
It just depends on who you crew. I mean, if you're going to pick people that are outgoing, and need people. Yeah, they're gonna need to be put to sleep because they'll go crazy. But introverts would be like, oh yeah, whatever.
Or they'll do they'll do a rave like they did in episode 2 or 3 where they were all dancing and stuff at the Ark. So they'll just turn one of the areas into a nightclub.
Yeah, and I know that they talk about the cosmic rays.
Look at Mr. Rays. Master.
Just make one part of the ship with the lead lining. I don't lead's heavy, but just make a section where they could just go and get away from the cosmic rays that would go through them all the time. But just, you don't think the whole ship lead, but just make enough room where they can get a break from the cosmic rays. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but I think about this stuff sometimes, and it's like, well, yeah, just build the lead thing out in space. I mean, you don't, just haul up enough to make a section where they can get away from the cosmic rays on their way out, and then maybe. I know that was an issue for astronauts, having cosmic rays go through their head. And it's like, oh, it's kind of distracting, but or just give them LSD for the whole time, and then they wouldn't tell.
They already had the comet water. They already had the comet water. Which one of our fans, one of the people that watched the show, they made an awesome little shot glass and said the Ark comet water. It was perfect for a shot glass because. I mean, that's what everybody did. So if, they fixed the water, but if they ever wanted to go back into the hallucinationville, they could just go ahead and drink the comet water again without that fix. But I was just talking in general, just the amazement of how the show has just picked up and everybody's not just hooked. And with each episode, you're thinking, oh, they're going to answer this, they're going to answer this, and they're going to answer this, but it ends up, opening up so many other, worms and different possibilities and different things that now you're asking for more, and you end up thinking more. And as a matter of fact, I just saw the preview for the next episode, and it's showing Trent walking around and everything's. I'm sorry, not Trent. Trust walking around, and so now begs the question: what's going on with him? What they're finding out with him, and stuff like that. So, and then his wife is also
there. Yes.
Yeah. Is also awakened. So we're now, my head's beating going, what are they talking about? I think they have some kind of weird sci-fi special effects thing where they go into some kind of I don't know. It looks like they go into some kind of space travel. They're also asking about my favorite baddie at the moment, Mark 15. So, yeah, there's not going to be no sleep until Wednesday at 9 my time, before I can sit there and watch. The cool thing is Dean live tweets with everybody, so he doesn't give much away, but it's nice to kind of hear what he says.
Yeah, we tried to get him to tell us some things, but he just said everything changes after episode 6, and we go, really? And boy, did it.
Yeah. I mean, I have a scary. I'm just kind of anxious about the cliffhanger. I'm gonna. Oh my gosh, what's he gonna do? This is.
Oh, you're talking about season 12, the end, the season finale, or you're talking about the cliffhanger for 8?
Just the cliffhanger. I mean, the cliffhanger for this season.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I do
know.
Go ahead.
I do know Jonathan Glasner wrote it, so it's going to be a doozy if he wrote it. Mm-hmm. And SyFy better give it a 2 season at least, because we're all going to be like this. Just you can't leave us hanging. So that's why I appreciate shows like these, because whatever it is to spread the word and spread the buzz, so to speak, to kind of get people more excited, because I think the show deserves it. I think it started off kind of okay, and it kind of I think it was just fine. It was basically character development between 2, 3, and 4. And I think people realized that after the characters have been drawn out, that now we can play with the fun and play with those characters. And we now, and I think now I don't know about you, Michael, but I completely forgot about the science in episode 7. I didn't even think about an airlock, if they did it right, or if he can float, or if he cannot do, where I would be thinking, like we were talking about Proxby and the star and everything else. Episode 7, all my science stuff went
out the window.
Yeah. Out the airlock. Out the airlock. Because I was completely just focused on what was being presented on television that night. And I think that's the trick, is to kind of keep us occupied with the narrative, so that we don't kind of go, well, we don't have time to go, well, this ship couldn't have done this, or that ship couldn't have done that. And so I think it was a very well written episode.
As the saying goes, Star Trek brings science fiction. Mm-hmm. Because everybody wants an explanation if that's real or not. But it's like, before that, science fiction could be anything you wanted, and you believed it. Okay. I mean, just like the beginning of John Carter. He goes into a cave, takes a nap, wakes up on Mars. And we don't question it. We just, okay, that's all right, whatever. Where now we have to really explain, well, this is how we got to Mars. This beam came and got him, and it's scientifically correct, and boom. It's like, well, screw that. Let's just do. It's called science fiction for a reason, but sometimes but nowadays it has to be kind of. Especially Star Trek, it's really wants to make sure that they have some of their. I know a lot of it's techno babble, but it sounds right. So at least they try to do that.
And the other thing I was going to say is, a lot of people that are finally kind of coming around to start to the arc is, I mean, I'm one of them as well. When I was watching The Next Generation, one of my favorite, of course, Voyager was also one of my favorites. We had episodic television where we started with a conflict or an issue at the beginning, and we had a resolution at the end in 44 minutes. The arc's not that way.
No.
The arc is complete. You have to. It's a soap opera. It's a space soap opera. You have to continually watch it to kind of get the best out of it. You can't get a resolution in 44 minutes. Because if you did, then it's no different than what we have now in most cases. And I think a lot of people grew up with that, with the episodic 44 minutes, 43 minutes of, problem, working to find a problem, resolution, and at the end, everybody having a party at 10 forward.
Yeah, but Next Generation did start that whole, where they had a cliffhanger in the later seasons. I mean, at the beginning, it was like 44 minutes and we're gone. But they did have a thing, because we would end with the Borg attacking, and then it's like the cliffhanger would be fire, and then we'd have to go, oh my god, had to wait all summer. So Star Trek Next Generation did do that. They started doing that, and there were the single episodes as well, but still you knew there was stuff going on toward the end. But anyway,
No, you're correct, because I mean I was the one stuck with that episode when Locutus was about to hit the Enterprise and they yelled fire, and then we were gone. What, that summer? We didn't know what was
3
going to
months.
happen,
3 months.
and we didn't know what
like
was going to
all
happen.
summer. And my gosh, and that was before the internet, so we couldn't get on here and talk about it all summer.
No.
What's going to happen? Back then, you might have found a chat room back then if you had the right. I mean, I don't know how.
If you had the right equipment, yes.
Yeah,
and knew where to go.
Because I think toward the end, they had those bulletin boards.
They had the bulletin boards, yes.
But and it took a while till. I mean, I guess when AOL came along, I guess you could chat about it then. But that was almost. But still, that was.
Well, the internet didn't really take off till 90. Yeah, I mean, the internet didn't really take off till 94, 95 anyway.
Yeah, when AOL came around, everybody got those discs and people started buying computers. But if you were in a computer in the 80s, you just would find a bulletin board and find your genre, and you would type. And I remember I was part of a comic book board back then, and we would talk comics, but still, I don't think it was live chat, but you could still type a comment, and then other people. Anyway, if you were familiar,
yeah, you're going way back there.
I know, I am. I'm going.
No, but
I'm showing my age.
No, but so am I, because I remember bulletin boards where you actually called with the modem to somebody else's house, and you were calling their phone and the modem and everything else, and you're calling long distance, and you had to get you had caller ID. I'm sorry, call waiting was the killer of that kind of communication, because it would knock you offline, and I get there, and I got that.
Well, I got tired of that, so I got a separate line just so I could be online. It's like, oh, screw this, because it wasn't that expensive to get another line back. I mean,
back then,
I'm talking about an actual telephone line from the pole out here.
For the audience that's watching that may be a little older, this were lines.
That back in the day, when technology was not what it is now, we'd have to dial in using a phone line. And then you're right. If someone would call or someone would pick up the thing that knowing you're online, like, oh, fuck, and usually because you're in the middle of something, like, oh, come on, I just typed this whole thing out, and now you're going to knock me offline. Screw that. But anyway. But there was, but still, I taken up too much time on that. But
it is what it is. It's just basically the history of where we are now. Now we can actually talk. I don't know where you're from. I'm in San Antonio. I'm in San Antonio, Richard. Where are you?
I'm in Ohio.
Oh, in Ohio. So now look at the technology. We have somebody just outside DC, somebody in Texas, and somebody in Ohio, and we're essentially near real time. This is where we are in technology now.
I mean, if Roger comes back, we have someone from California. I mean,
Roger just texted me that he had a client that needed something immediately, and he had to go. So,
and the last sports episode, we had somebody from the UK call, talk with us, and I mean, it's worldwide now. I mean, well, even back in the 90s when it all became a big thing, the world got smaller, and you could talk to anybody. Because if you live in a small town, you were kind of isolated in what you liked because there weren't that many people around. But then once AOL hit, well, then you could find millions or thousands of people that liked what you did and talked and stuff. And plus, back in the day when you had that little PM box, or you'd go into a chat room, and if you could type until someone. And you never know what you're going to, but of course you never know what you're going to get there. But anyway, I'm going off.
And I was just going to say, let's bring that over real quick to the part where now, if you want to talk to a showrunner, if you want to talk to Mr. Devlin, you want to talk to Glass, I was just a tweet away. Pretty much you can actually have almost instant contact with somebody versus back then you'd have to write a letter and, actually physically write a letter and mail it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even use email anymore.
Yeah. So
I mean, you remember that back then you just write somebody an email or you'd be in a chat room, but but with the smartphone, what's email? No, that's old. I mean, I don't think I get emails, but I don't write people emails. I just send them, I guess now it's called a DM. So I just send them a DM, but anyway, and Twitter, Michael, you've been sitting over there. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, we need to get back on the arc because we've only got about 10 more minutes that we want to stay online. So, and I just want to say we do have a like from Bobby Nash. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby's one of our regular guests, which is kind of cool. He said, I don't think he's finished the arc. He's behind because he's a writer actually, and so he's been doing a lot of projects, and he said I've got to catch up on the arc, but hopefully he can join us later in the season before it ends, and he can put his 2 cents in.
Okay, sounds good.
But was there any other major thing we needed to, or have we kind of hit all the major points?
I think we have. I think Jag has done a good job of hitting all the major points. So, and so have you, Michael.
Of anything. I don't know if I missed anything. I just want to.
No, I think we hit everything. So let's do this. Let us close this show out, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming, especially those that will look later. Normally, we're going to try to do this show on Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. But the best way to know exactly when it's going to be is to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then you'll get a notice when we're going to do something.
Ah, that reminds me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the little ringy bell so you get notified.
That's right.
That's the best way to know, because as soon as we're on, you'll get notified that the Geek Show is on.
That's right. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Take care.
Take care,
guys. Great time.